Did you learn in school that I had no idea, but did you know that lowercase numbers used to exist? What about school? Yeah, forks used to be considered sacrilegious. It's fascinating, was because you're not using your hand. No, what'd you learn at school? I don't know, math or something, but did you know it rains diamonds on Saturn? Why do you know so much about these random topics? If something piques my interest and it's not for a grade, I'll learn just about anything. Have you ever been interested in math or anything? I learned advanced calculus on YouTube yesterday. You won't learn it at school. Pretty much, yeah.
This is what I've come home to.
Car unlocked. New trees. More new plants.
What's the donkey busy doing? Being busy.
A hole in the wall. Darcy, are you in there? Groceries still out.
What's the donkey busy doing? Being busy.
Garden in chaos. And a donkey sleeping.
So sweet. I don't mind. He'll eventually get to it and do it better than I ever would.
You're fucking right.
Hey, what are you doing? Oh, freezing. Buffering. What? Why? Oh, there's about to be a very, very, very big transition in my life. So ADHD has made me freeze up to protect myself. Oh my god, are you okay? What's the transition? Can I help you with anything? The big scary transition that you're going through. What is it? Oh, getting up. Yeah, no, it's just, yes, it's a big change. There's lots of things that can, yes. Getting up, right, okay, well, can I do anything? What do you need to do? No, it's totally fine. I just stare blankly at the wall for a couple of hours and completely overanalyze my entire reasons before I force my body into getting up. Are you okay? Can I call someone for you?
You're in black slacks with accentuating off-white pinstripes. Whoa, everything goes according to plan. I'm the new cancer, never look better, you can't stand it. Higher, cheaper, don't you see? Baby, nothing comes for free. They say I'm a control freak, driven by greed to succeed. Nobody can stop me, cause it's my problem if I wanna back up.
ADHD relationship tip. If you or your partner are neurodivergent, this one is for you. I can be a pretty bad listener, and it's something that I've worked really hard to get better at because it's not great for being in a relationship. But only very recently did I realize how much my experience of being a person with ADHD affects my perception of listening and being listened to. And this is where the relationship advice comes in. Focus and attention are pretty scarce in my life. And that means that if I find the energy and attention to tell you something, I want you to remember it. But one very unfair thing that I realized that I was doing was if somebody repeated a story or told me something twice. Because I have to work really, really hard to be a good listener. And so I would take being told something twice as a personal attack. Or even worse, I would go, you don't even remember telling me your own story? How much time and attention then are you paying to the stuff that I tell you? And that's not fair to the other person. And that's not how memory works. So don't be like me. You're welcome.
Say to him, hey Eugene, could I get some ketchup for my fries? Well, he looks at me, and I look at him, and he looks at me, and I look at him, and he looks at me, and I look at him, and he says, I'm sorry. What did you want again? I say ketchup, and he says, oh yeah, that's right. I just spaced out there for a second. I'm really kinda burnt tonight. And then he hands me the ketchup. Tastes like what on a song. You don't have to say that. And it sounds just like beans.
Okay guys, now that I have been on ADHD medication for a week, let's talk about some things that have changed in my life this week. For so many years, since I was probably 12, I have been trying to stop interrupting people to get my point across, and I have never been able to. Like, I can't stop. I didn't know that was an ADHD trait, and as soon as I started medication, like when it's in my system, I don't do that, and I don't even think about it. It's because I can hold on to my thoughts longer without having to blurt them out to get it across. Possibly the weirdest one is I think I like math. I've been terrified of math for so many years. Like it will cause me to hysterically sob thinking about it. I was doing some last weekend and I ended up sobbing to my husband because I was like, it's just shapes and numbers. It's just been shapes and numbers this whole time. And that was so weird to me because for so many years, like looking at anything math related on paper was the equivalent of being surrounded by garbage. It's too much. Let me know if you want part 2. Part 2 of things ADHD treatment has changed about my life. I was gonna wait a couple days to make this, but I got excited, so 2 in a day it is. I don't know if you guys know this, but silence is not supposed to have a sound. I have never in 24 years of life heard actual quiet until I started treatment. It doesn't sound like anything. And if the question is, did I cry? The answer is yes. Now, I have a lot of physical health issues, and I couldn't figure out which one was causing me to just live in a perpetual state of exhaustion. The answer was none of them, because it was ADHD fatigue. Took Concerta for 2 days and realized that was the culprit the whole time. The whole time. I have stopped mindlessly putting things down, losing them because I don't know where I put it down, and then getting incredibly angry that I lost another thing. I've stopped. That's the most life-changing one, I think. I text my friends back now because simple tasks don't feel like I'm being asked to go to war.
Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist.
I bought a pressure washer.
Yeah, wow.
Are you excited about it?
Sure.
Their flags when Puff roared out his name. Oh, Puff, the magic dragon, lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist.
It's amusing to me when autistic, non-autistic people are concerned about their autistic child's behavior because it's always like something harmless. Autistic parent, I'm concerned about my daughter. Why? Because she's been staring at the washing machine for 45 minutes. Good for her. Having the ADHD autism special combo is so weird. I wake up like, which cluster of symptoms is going to be at the forefront today? And then depending on the answer, I either take a stimulant or a tranquilizer. Friend, want to hang out tomorrow? Me. I actually performed an activity yesterday. Please wait at the 3-day recovery period to submit another inquiry. Sorry, I'm not trying to make fun of you. I'm just neurodivergent, so I copied all your speech patterns and mannerisms subconsciously. Do you still like me? Look, holistic writers of mainstream media. In principle, I'm totally in favor of the idea you should be allowed to write autistic characters if you want to. However, it would really help my arguments in this regard if you could just stop being totally crap at it for maybe 5 seconds. Please?
So I went to the doctor today and they told me I have ADHD. And I was like, a dangerously huge dick.
Disregarding any weirdness with food, let's talk about ADHD and eating because I've never put it into words before and I'm so pissed. So I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was 13. So I'm 8 years into taking stimulants almost every day. So it's been years since I've experienced any natural hunger cues. Any stimulant I take for ADHD for the most part is going to be an appetite suppressant. So I not only don't want to eat, but it makes me physically nauseous when I do while taking this medicine. But if I don't take the medicine, although I can experience hunger, I have too much executive dysfunction to actually make food. So I physically cannot make myself make the food to fill this hunger void without the medicine, even though I can't eat with the medicine on it. And on top of that, with ADHD, my body's incredibly sensitive to processed sugars and just generally processed foods in general. It makes me super emotionally unregulated and it's a nightmare and I can't do anything and I cry all the time. And so I have to be really careful about nutrition, but that's so much work for my little tiny pea brain that can't focus on a single thing to do. And that means I have to go to a ton of extra trouble to make food and buy food. And then I spend too much money on food because I'm trying to find things that work for my body and then I don't eat it because of the medicine. I hate it!
It's the rule of 17. If you can't get motivated to clean your room, you pick up 17 things. 17, specifically. That's a low enough number that it feels like you can accomplish it, but it's also enough things that you build momentum once you start. And once you've picked up 17 things, you have so much momentum going that you just keep cleaning. This is my holy grail of life hacks now. It's incredible.
Hi! So I decided that this morning I'm going to make you guys my favorite coffee with a little twist. If you are in the ADHD community, I'm going to blow your mind. My psychiatrist told me something fun that we all need to know. First, we're going to take our 2 espresso pods, put them in, push the button. Okay, now that we are all done with that, we're going to take our Fun Vyvanse pill and open it up and dump it in our coffee because it helps get in our bloodstream faster and you can drink on it a little bit longer and it lasts longer because you're not just getting hit by a bus. I also like to put some vanilla bean, just a half a tablespoon in there, and then you put ice and oat milk. So let me find some.
More things I don't understand as a neurodivergent person. Apparently, it is frowned upon to share a relatable story when somebody tells you about something that's going on with them. This is like my default reaction. And I can like totally understand if somebody's like blatantly trying to one-up you or like dismiss your experience. But when it's a back and forth exchange, doesn't it help to feel like you're not alone or like somebody relates to you? I've heard a lot of other neurodivergent people say that this is a thing that they do as well. It's just like the natural way that we communicate. I wonder if it's because so many of us have actually felt alone in our situations so many times in our lives. But yeah, what else are we supposed to say? Like, I don't want to just like not respond and feel like, make you feel like I don't care.
I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. But I'm only human.
So in college, right, there was some there, and well, it's where it started. My mom, she, and I'm sober, and she and my dad, because when I was 6 and in high school, so much, and I was recently institutionalized, and through college, and also always, there was abuse, and so actually, so if when I was born, there were the family and toxic relationship this past year, and because of I'm on Zoloft.
You said something dumb again.
So your profile said you were into music. That's crazy. So am I.
It's stressing me out that there's food on a blanket. I have to go home. This was nice.
You mocking the way I talk? What do you mean? You're mimicking the way I talk. I didn't even realize. Are you neurodivergent? Hey, I've got I mean, yes, I have ADHD. Oh, so you're just mirroring me. What do you mean mirroring? Well, people with neurodivergencies tend to mirror the people they talk to in attempts to mask their symptoms. Well, that explains a lot. When they have no one to mirror, they tend to just switch through accents like a catalogue. You, sir, have officially blown my mind.